Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of the New American Classic podcast put on by Feltrager. Today is a very exciting day. We got to sit down with the guys from Medicinal Missions and talk to them about their first production, which is a documentary called Project 22. It kind of educates the general public and I guess veterans as well about PTSD and some of the struggles that a lot of our soldiers deal with coming back home from, as Dan says, being Spartans. Great guys, met them a while back. We're working on a little project together to help them promote the next project they're working on, which they talk about a little bit. But always a good time when we sit down with these guys. Very excited that this is episode 1. Great way to kick off the new podcast we're doing. So here you go. Episode 1, New American Classic podcast by Feltrager. Well, it's not like streaming anywhere. It's just I'm gonna have to go back through and
then post.
I went to school for audio engineering and entertainment business.
Oh wow!
Before I did all this shit.
Oh shit!
So I'm gonna see if those skills still work, and I still know how to edit, and I don't know how to video edit, so I'm gonna kind of do the same thing. I don't think I need to. I'm gonna kind of do the same thing with video and figure out how to edit video. And
nice, man.
It's gonna be a interesting afternoon. But I guess I just wanted to get you guys in here and kind of talk a little bit about what you guys are up to and what we talked about last time you guys were in. You want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Daniel Egbert. I'm the co-founder and executive director of Medicinal Missions. I'm also a Marine Corps veteran. I was with the infantry for 7 years, 4 deployments. That's me.
I'm Doc. I'm an Army medic veteran and co-founder of Medicinal Missions and co-director of Project 22 with Daniel. And just finishing up a degree in psychology and orienting myself to the world of film and riding motorcycles. That's about it. Hell
yeah. So. As far as, can you guys talk a little bit about what Project 22 is, kind of how it got started, what you guys are trying to get out of it, what exactly it is as far as it being a film and what you guys are kind of doing with it?
Absolutely. It's a feature-length documentary, and it's geared to prevent suicide, but in a way that suicide prevention films and documentaries and literature usually don't approach the subject. We take a hopeful approach. So it's basically a catalog of hope, different things that veterans can try, pottery, yoga, meditation. We took a road trip across the country, hopped on Harleys, and interviewed as many people as we could, veterans, doctors, researchers, just trying to find out what works, and specifically in dealing with post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury, depression, some of the challenges that lead to suicide that we kind of discovered along the way. So we got it fiscally sponsored as a nonprofit production. It's the first production from our company, and we're just trying to get veterans to see it.
Right.
Just trying to spread the word right now. We're at over 100 screenings, I think.
Yeah, it's over 100 screenings across the country, and hopefully soon international for Netflix.
We'll be on PBS for the first time next month.
Oh yeah, we're doing first television, which includes an interview and a board with Doc and myself. So PBS put together actually an amazing event. It's going to be an interview with Doc and myself while breaking down parts of the film, and then the film, and then a screening at the VFW, the local VFW.
So like a commentary throughout the...
Like Southern, it's in Medford? It's Southern Oregon.
Yeah, Southern Oregon and Northern California. Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. We're going to be people's homes.
Yeah. Seriously. So as far as the screenings, you guys do set up individual screenings and sell tickets for almost like individual events to come and see the film?
Yeah. The way we do screenings is community based. So the film is heavy on community. The community coming together, rallying to help the veteran and the veteran population. So what we decided to go with was a company called Tugg, TUGG.com. And what they are is community-based screenings. So they do theatrical screenings, but all you got to do is go on Tugg.com and look up Project 22 and select your zip code, your theater, and then they take it from there. And then what happens is they approve the screening once the theater gets back to them, and then it's in theaters. It's pretty cool.
Damn.
Yeah, it's the modern world.
Nice.
Yeah. So
So
that's
yeah.
no studios, no marketing
Right.
budget.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
only people requesting and universities requesting, organizations.
That's
It's crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
And how, as far as you guys said, Netflix is next. That's the plan for wider distribution. How
Yeah.
does that come about? Can you guys deal directly with them from your company, as
No-
a production company, with them to push this and future releases you guys will be doing, or?
So the way that Netflix and Redbox and a bunch of them sort of operate with films is they have aggregators who send them content. And so usually it's the film gets noticed at a film festival or somebody knows about it anyway.
Right.
And so it gets sent to that aggregator who has a relationship
Like
with
an agent or something?
Yeah. And so they would just send it out to like everybody who they have relationships with. So how it worked in our case, because we didn't really do film festivals. We did one GI film festival that's oriented towards veterans.
Right.
But the thing with film festivals is they make you wait to show your film. And
What do you mean?
like they want to premiere it sort of in that city or in that area or even in the country. It has to be the first time it's played.
Right.
And from the beginning of this film, we were like, we're not going to wait because
Right.
it's a suicide prevention film. you
Right.
know?
We need to get it out.
Sorry, this is good information, but
Right.
So we just, because the community requested so many screenings, it got the attention of some Hollywood players who brought us in for a meeting, and now they're sort of sending it out for us.
Right.
So,
Damn, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
It's
from
been a
the,
wild ride.
from the start, we've kind of went against the grain of what we are supposed to do, I guess. We did.
As far as releasing a film, you mean?
Yeah, we've done it completely for free through generous donations from massive companies
Right.
and crowdsourced funding through Indiegogo and stuff like that, which is standard. But we've turned down distribution. We've done this. We wanted to do Tug. Now we release it online to anybody. Besides distribution, we release it online for free through an email. If anybody contacts us, we give it to them. So and we actually just got $5,000 donation, which we turned into $5,000 worth of DVDs that we're sending out for free to therapeutic companies, anybody that can use it, with one rule that they're not going to make money off of it,
Right.
and just to show their veterans in their community. But so everything's for free. We're trying our best to just get it out there.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was the what would you say the catalyst? I mean, was there a a line in the sand that finally you were like, something needs to be done, or is it something you guys have thought about and turned into, like, how did you decide to? I mean, obviously you guys see it. You guys are in the military. You guys have, I'm sure, friends that have dealt with PTSD, and I'm sure taken their own lives. And was there a time where you guys were like, something needs to be done, or how did that happen?
It was 2013. I just got back from I didn't just get back. I got back from my 4th deployment, and I was back in Manhattan, and it was the standard downward spiral. Like I started that I thought I was all alone in. But,
Right.
After doing Project 22, I realized everyone across the country has the same exact story.
Right.
But I started sabotaging everything in my life, doing all this stuff. Ultimately, I attempted suicide. Me and Doc used to live together, and when I called him and told him about it, he flew to New York to be with me. He stayed for about a week, and I don't know. He stayed with me, and after that, then he got on the plane and he left, and he said that we got to do something about this.
Right.
Pretty much, we've always known the statistic, and it wasn't big in 2013. It was just released pretty much, and there's always been talk about it, but there wasn't as many organizations and awareness and all that stuff. I didn't even know what we were dealing with.
Right.
I just know I felt wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then and then Doc said we got to do something about this. We were actually you can go.
Well, that was right after, I guess in February of 2013, so a few months before this happened. That's when the VA released the study that 22 veterans were on average were estimated to commit suicide every day. And so that's when and when you read that, you can't comprehend it.
Right.
Even if you've
doesn't
had
even make
friends that
sense.
you've known or like you hear about it and you know it's happening, when you see 22, you're just like, that's impossible.
Right.
Like they'll all be gone soon, right?
Right.
Like it's just like you can't even comprehend it. But and so we were like talking about it, but it didn't hit home until that happened, and there was just like okay, if it's 22,
right,
and Daniel, who's one of the
it.
happiest, most
Right.
outgoing, life of the party guys that
Right.
that there is, that if he's feeling that way behind the smile and
Yeah.
the image of happiness, then who else is,
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I had gone through my own stuff when I moved out to New York. It was just fresh off a divorce and all this kind of stuff, and he was there for me through some rough times. And I was just like, if we've gone through it, we can at least share our experiences with others.
Right.
But there has to be other people who want to share their stories. And as soon as we put the idea out there, people were like, "Where are you going? Are you coming through my town?"
Yeah.
Like, more than happy to share it with you.
Yeah, I mean, last time you guys were here, we talked a little bit about how it got to that point where there was this sense of like you had to like be a man and had to hide it and had to like bury it, and that
Yeah.
so many people are used to like having to put on that face and put on an act and
Yeah.
kind of like deal with it behind the scenes.
I always say that we're like the best actors in
Right.
the world, and like I would go out and be the happiest, life of the party. Like I would always be the one taught, right? Like I was always
Right.
outgoing, energetic. Everyone thought like nothing was possibly wrong in my life, but oh Lord,
It's all good. I'm gonna turn this here
the whole time I was thinking,
Lord.
the whole time I was thinking,
My
oh
phone's
no,
gonna
is
go
my
off.
phone? Oh, it was off. It was the alarm. Okay. Anyway, the whole time. But what I was saying was, we're the best actors in the world.
Right.
Well, I would go out, and even my sister said when she saw the film, and I told her about it, she's like, "Dan, I'm ashamed that I thought you were so well. I used to talk to my husband about how good you were, and it makes no sense. And you're just the perfect like person."
Right.
But we know how to turn off emotion. But at the end of the day, you're with yourself.
Right.
At the end of the day,
Right.
after everything, after you go to the party and you fake it for a little bit, you're home alone in your bed alone. You know what I mean? And it's hard to deal with your own thoughts.
Right.
And it's a lot of people can't understand that, and they wonder about depression and stuff like that. Like snap out of it. It's invisible. It's not something you could just snap out of because it's in you, and you deal with it on a constant level, 24/7. But with the mentality of be a man, we're very Spartan in the military, and we need to be.
Right.
We need to be. We're warriors, right? And we learn the Spartan culture, but we don't turn it off. We don't learn the rest of it. Because the Spartans would come home, and then they would be community leaders, mentors. They would stop the war, but also question the wars and be the bearers of peace. What was
They would bear the burden.
they would bear the burden of peace and
Right.
decide if the community went to war, because now they're on a spiritual journey for the rest of their life. They never took their scarlet capes off. They were still warriors,
Right.
but they went on a spiritual healing journey afterwards. But we don't learn that. We learn in the military, Sparta. Okay, you're free, go be a civilian.
Right.
So we think that's what we know. So we think let's maintain that, but you can't. You have to learn the rest of the warrior cycle, and that's what we're trying to do.
Wow.
And I wanted to add this too, because we talk a lot, and the film is definitely from a veteran viewpoint. That's the language that we know, that's
Right.
the struggle that we know, and that's the network that we knew to reach out to. But the challenges, depression, post-traumatic stress, those are universal. And what we're finding with the film is people are understanding and relating to it, regardless of whether they're a veteran, whether they're a family member, or completely unrelated.
Right.
If they've had traumatic stuff in their childhood, or if they just deal with general depression, like something in the film will relate to them, because there's so many stories and so many journeys that we're not that much,
Right.
we're a lot alike when it comes down to it. The human universals
Yeah.
of how we feel and respond and
Right.
live.
So, I mean, would you say that the purpose of the film was more about having that, as you said, you're created with this, Spartan mentality and then let out into the world? Was the point of the film to kind of complete that journey home, or was it more of an awareness for, would you say it's more for veterans or more for other people to realize what, or both, I guess?
I think
Like, what was the mentality going into it? Who were you guys making this for? Who were you envisioning? Was this more about making sure that veterans knew,
Yeah.
hey, there's help, there's,
I think
other
going
people
into it,
are
there
in
was two levels, and the first level I think was on a personal note. Like I went through my rough time, and I was still like, when he called me and had his situation, where I was sitting on a couch doing nothing.
Right.
Like, just,
Right.
and isolated from everybody. Like, but so like the first and foremost, it was like, we have to figure out what's wrong with us. Like, go ask some other people and find out like what we can do, because we're not going to go take the VA's medication.
Right.
I've already suggested that a lot.
Right.
Not going to happen. So that was, I think, the most. And then from there, the idea evolved into, if we're going to do this, how can we show that or share that to the rest of the people that can't come on this trip with us?
Right.
You know? And so that was definitely, we're going to go find this information, but how do we show it to our brothers and sisters as veterans? And we didn't, I don't think, realize how applicable it would be to a general audience until feedback, I don't think.
Right.
Because we're so in the story of
Right.
this is us. And then like a sound guy from one of the shows came up and started talking to us about his story and how it, and I was just like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like, it's different language, because that's, it's like talking football or baseball, but
Right.
like, wow. Okay.
That's the whole thing. It is a human universal, and it's translating it, because everyone speaks a different language. Even though we're speaking English here, and it's a different language for everything you've done and mastered in your life and been through, but it's the same universal struggle. And it's all about the film is all about just taking your life back in your hands and owning it and getting up, not in like a physical movement of getting off your couch, but like this life-changing movement of getting up, you know what I mean?
Right.
And moving. Like when we did 6,500 miles across the country, and it was great, right? But I thought when we when we drove to New York City, when we got to New York City, I thought I was gonna have the answer. You know what I mean? I thought I was gonna, and I thought I missed it. But through the process and through editing and through everything, I realized that the answer was that I got on the motorcycle. That was my movement. That was my choice.
Right.
Yeah. And then so like Doc said, we set out to pretty much save ourselves, and then we decided to it was to save others as well. And then we realized we could connect with the entire community,
right,
and then pass that community into depressions of all sorts, and then it started just evolving into this massive thing. And then we wanted to translate it further from the ancient and all that stuff. So it's become this constant evolution. But absolutely, it was an immediate step to saving ourselves, I think,
right?
Because there was nothing else there was no other choice.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of other choices, but there was no other choice that would have kept me alive.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think same for you, right? Like, I don't want to speak for you, but
I mean,
it definitely
changed my life. It got me back into school.
Yeah.
Like, it got me, like, it really, and it gave me a better understanding of myself, which at the end of the day hasn't made me, I'm not the Dalai Lama,
right.
But like I'm like, okay, I've got a better picture of where I'm at and what I need to work on, rather than things just affecting me. And me being like, what the fuck?
Right.
Why
What's
am I
going
always
on?
angry when this happens? Or
right.
why can I not remember this? Or like, there's such
just getting frustrated with it.
Well, that's the thing. Once we decided to do this documentary, I finally started researching post-traumatic stress and TBI, right?
Uh-huh.
And now we are in this big effort to change the Hollywood concept and the understanding of post-traumatic stress, that it's this crazy thing that you dig holes in your front lawn and like stop loss
right.
or whatever. So, but I didn't realize that. I thought that too. I thought it was this crazy thing. When someone said you had post-traumatic stress, I was like, no way.
Right, I haven't done any of those things.
I'm fine, trust
right.
me, yeah. And then, but when you research it and you go through, when you actually start looking at
right,
what
checklist,
I was like,
right.
holy crap, yup.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I have post-traumatic stress, I think. And then, but that's another thing. In TBI, I had no idea the massive effects of traumatic brain injury for forever, right? Well, unless you take steps towards like healing. I didn't want to. That cuts right there. It's like forever. But I didn't understand it. But when you finally start learning, that will save your life alone. Because that will help you towards healing, because you can finally understand. Oh, there's something that is wrong,
right? Like physically,
that I can fix. It's because it's invisible. It's all invisible. So
right.
you're like, so it's just a strange experience. And when you finally start understanding and opening up and talking to people, and like you do that too, that happens to you, then I swear you'll start to feel lighter, and then you'll start understanding that, oh, I can fix that now. It's a visible thing now. I've made it visible that I can attack and take care of.
That's what I was thinking. As far as like, you know, having the standard of what PTSD was to you, and then realizing, oh my God, that might be what this is. Yeah. That's got to like open a door to at least. Now you're not just confused and frustrated, you know, feeling all these feelings and not knowing what it is. Now at least you have a road to go down. So I feel like showing your movie in front of people, there's a lot of people that might have the same kind of preconceived notion of what it is, and then see this and be like, oh, that's exactly what's going on with me, or like, you know, and be able to open up to that a little bit.
That's what everyone says when they see it. They're like, you guys said everything that I didn't know how to, and I didn't know that I was feeling, but it's there. And it's everyone across the country. We just saw all these veterans say the exact same thing. They're like, thank you so much. And then the wives see that, and the girlfriends or the husbands and the boyfriends and the moms and dads, and then it starts like bridging a gap of understanding. And then everyone starts opening up. It's incredible, dude. It's absolutely incredible.
Like, last night I went to see The Revenant with my wife, and I made it about 30 minutes in. And have you seen it?
The beginning of that movie is pretty gnarly.
Yeah, so I got to the bear, and them trying to save him after him being a medic, I just like couldn't do it. So I'm like outside the theater crying my eyes out. And my wife, you know, she comes, because of course the first thing to do is like, you know, I'll be all right. I'm just gonna step outside, you know. And then,
you gotta be
like,
tough, right?
You know, yeah, exactly. But like now that I have a better understanding about myself, and I can be more honest and talk to myself about what's going on, I can share that. So when she came out, what used to happen, you know, with girlfriends or whatever, would be I would feel so guilty for like ruining their night or something, that it would become something else. I definitely wouldn't talk about why or what happened. Maybe just like it affected me or whatever, like brush it off. But then that affects you for the rest of the evening or whatever. So instead, this time she came out, and I was just like, this is what happened. Like, this is what I saw in there, and this is who it reminded me of. I named the person. I talked about like what he meant to me. I went through the whole thing, crying right there in front of the theater. And then it was over, and we went home.
And you go on with your.
I texted him to tell him what happened. I was, and he was, you know, are you okay? Do you need anything? And I was really fine. I was like, wow, I was able to express what I was feeling to somebody, and feel it. Like, rather than like, no, I don't want to.
That turmoil.
That's a great line. So, we always try to suppress it and not, just feel it. Just let it be. You know what I mean? Like, feel it, because it's there for a reason.
Let it in and.
And then learn from it. Feel it, learn from it, and then you see what happens after that, rather than suppressing. Because suppressing doesn't work. We keep on doing that.
Yeah, I mean, what would you guys like to see done, you know, on an official level to kind of help? I know there's some candidates up there now that are, you know, preaching all kinds of things. Who knows what's really possible or whatever. But just the idea that we spend so much money to send people out, and then when they come back in, there's no support. There's no, you know, what is there something that you guys would like to have in place, or some kind of, even if it's like some kind of exit strategy, you know, some kind of something to help, you know, so a buffer between, like you said, Spartan to, hey, now you have to be like everyone, you know, go back and be fucking normal again. And, you know, is there a protocol that you would like put in place?
We'd love for them to all watch Project 22. And we're working on making that happen. We've got some really good inroads with the active duty training brigade. So very good possibility that Project 22 will be a part of that. But I think from like a systemic level, it's hard, because when you think about the VA, and I'm not going to, you know, bitch about it, because you can bitch about anything you want to. You can find something, and there's people who have had great experiences with the VA. But from a systemic level, it's really hard to create change. So even if the VA is full of people who are there to really make a difference in veterans' lives, they're dealing with some of the policies, and they're dealing with the pharmaceutical regimens, and they're dealing with the system that they're in, you know? So our goal is to create a cultural shift and create a different demand for services. So rather than veterans going, obeying their, you know, this is your prescription, this is what's going on, and it's obviously not working. You can, whatever research you want to say, 22 suicides is proving that that's not working, you know? So whatever 40-year-old studies they're pulling the prescription stuff off of, they can let that go, So, but create in a different demand. So if we can create a cultural shift, a mindset shift within veterans that we experience trauma, and there's two roads in front of us, post-traumatic stress or post-traumatic growth. And post-traumatic growth is the proactive path. And that's the path that they want, and that's the path that they demand from the VA, then that's what we're going to get from the VA. So if we can start to create that cultural shift outside that, hey, we want yoga, we want fitness, we want, like, prescribe healthy foods, you know?
Right.
Prescribe exercise. You're dealing with depression. Don't give them pills and let them go play video games.
Yeah, seriously.
That's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Do no harm. Like, don't do that. So if there's a different demand from us and different expectations even coming out of the military. We had the expectation, well, it's kind of cool to be that fucked up veteran, you know?
Right,
like,
right.
we
Everyone
can be
wants
messed
to,
up, but it's not fun, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not sustainable. You can't live a long, healthy life like that, and you definitely can't build a family and a career on that.
Yeah.
So having a different mindset, wow, I came out of the military or whatever my service was, that earned me the right to work my way into not entitlement, but my right to work my way into community leadership and mentoring. I have these experiences that I can give back to my community now. So if we can create that sort of mind shift and mindset, I think that's where the true change will come. But
No, you killed it.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sweet. As far as Project 22 itself, you guys said a lot has changed since last time we talked. A lot's been going on. Is there anything you guys can talk about, or is it all kind of in progress?
Project 22 itself hasn't changed. The next project has changed. The next mission.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what do you guys got going on?
So Project 22, I mean, since we talked, it has changed because it's reached across the country.
Right.
Right. It has, and it's been, it's in the hands of aggregators now. Hopefully, finalizing its position in Netflix, which means it will be in everyone's home because everyone has Netflix, and that's a massive success.
Yeah.
That's what we want because a lot of veterans don't feel comfortable going to the theater yet. So that's why we send them the link to their personal computers and when anyone asks for it, because so you just want to watch something that might trigger you into in the safety of your own home.
Right.
It feels comfortable. And if any veterans are listening, Project 22 has no war footage. We went completely against the grain. Sometimes, and any veteran listening will know this, that you go into a war film or war documentary and you almost leave worse than when you went in because all the triggers and all the memories. We were conscious of that because we're veterans. And we took out there's not a single clip of war footage, nothing. It's amazing people talking to you and an awesome 6,500 mile cross country road trip on motorcycles. That's it.
Right.
It's great. So that happened. What's next is there was a part of Project 22. His name was Dr. Brooke, and he's a South African paratrooper and a doctor in psychology at Duquesne University. He mentioned a lot about the ancient cultures, the ancient successful cultures, and it changed our lives. It was from 3000 BC to the present. He broke it down for us, and it was much more successful, and we found huge benefits to what he was talking about. So Doc and I decided to run with that. We're coming up with a new docu-series that's in the works. And it's going to entail ancient cultures, motorcycles, world travel, and
Hell yeah.
and some fun. Yeah, it's incredible, and it's in the works with some good people, some good companies and stuff like that. And
6 riders this time, not
6
just me and
riders.
Dan.
Hell yeah.
6 articulate, awesome, wonderful warriors from every walk of life. Or at least 6 walks of life.
I mean, is the focus also on like military culture and these other cultures, or
It's warrior culture. So like at the end we're gonna have all sorts of, like, for example, okay, so there's a female rider with us, and she was one of the first women to be embedded with the Green Berets, Special Forces, and she was deep in Afghanistan with them, and then and she was civil affairs specialist. After she got out, she was a double breast cancer mastectomy survivor. She has a daughter, and it's just she is the epitome of a warrior. Wow. So we have cancer survivor. We're gonna in everything we will talk about will be the warrior mentality, the warrior spirit. It's not veteran,
right.
It's warrior.
That's one of the things that we want to do too, is extract the word warrior from military.
Yeah.
And just say it's not about, you don't earn the title warrior when you go put on the uniform.
Right.
You earn the title warrior through your actions, whether or not you're wearing a uniform or wearing a different uniform, or like a firefighter crawling down a hallway to save somebody. Yeah. That's pretty warrior, you know?
Yeah.
And first responders deal with a lot of the same issues, unfortunately, with suicide and a lot of the challenges post-traumatic stress brings. Just extracting the word warrior and owning that. I'm a warrior who chose to serve in the Army, The Army is not why I'm a warrior,
right.
Because there's warriors in every profession and you see it in times of disaster, in times of loss, in times of community. People that step up out of nowhere, and you're like, all right,
right.
I can learn some things from them.
And that mentality and that tenacity needs to be perpetuated and understood and admired, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So for people that do want to check this out, what's the best bet? If you go on tugg.com, tugg.com, and you just in the search bar type Project 22, it will come up to our page. On our page, you can see where it's playing next, if it's a city by you. And if not, if you want to have your own screening, there's an option that says a theatrical screening. Click it, put in your zip code, put in your name and an email, and choose a theater in your area, and Tugg will get in contact with you.
Mm-hmm. They confirm with the theater, they set up the ticket page, and provide like promotional materials so you can invite your community.
Damn,
and if you're a veteran or you know a veteran that's that needs to see this now, email medicinalmissions@gmail.com. medicinalmissions
There we go.
@gmail.com.
Not medical missions.
Yeah, not medical missions.
Right.
Medicinal missions. And put in the subject line, "Hope is everywhere," and you'll immediately get the film on a low res private screener. It's yours, so that's what it's here for.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. And do you guys know when Netflix is happening, or is that something that's just starting?
Something we're grinding away at.
Cool.
So.
It's harder than you think.
Oh, I think it's really hard.
I thought Netflix was gonna be like. I thought we were gonna be like,
call them
yeah.
up.
I was like, dude, check this out, and it's gonna be on. No, it's hard.
Yeah, when do you want to buy next week?
We
Cool.
got
We
a
can do
film that's going across the country and changing lives and all this stuff and saving people, and it's still hard. And it's not Netflix's fault, but it's harder than I thought it was gonna be.
There's like 70-something tattoos of the Project 22 logo. Already.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, people are tattooing it all over themselves.
Hell yeah.
It's awesome.
It's crazy, man. It's become a movement.
Yeah.
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 Really is.
No, I felt the first time you guys came in, being able to talk about it, and So I mean, I know people that have had other types of PTSD and depression, and it 100%. I mean, it's beyond just veterans. I mean, anyone that sees, everyone's been there, everyone feels it, and just that idea that like removing the stigma from it, and that you don't have to, like you said, walk out of the movie and like, it changes, and just being able to be in it and deal with it and know that other people are going through it is huge.
Now I want to say that we're wildly grateful for you. From the first time we reached out to this amazing company, you guys have been nothing but supportive, and even the first emails of saying the trailer just blew you away, and you need to see the film and all this stuff. Like, you guys have been such great support, and
dude, I love it. I love what you guys are doing.
Endlessly grateful, man.
Yeah,
so.
John and I both watched the trailer and texted each other. We were in fucking tears just from watching the trailer.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
from the bottom of our hearts, seriously.
Absolutely. Killer. Well, I'm glad you guys can be here. Anything else you guys want to add or throw out there? Anything else you guys want to plug? Anything else going on? Anything else to push?
Ride motorcycles.
There you go. And
get out and have fun.
And when are you guys getting out on the road next? You have
we're gonna ride to Vegas on Tuesday.
Yeah, we're gonna ride to Vegas on Tuesday for the Article. Huge in the veteran community is a company called Article 15 Clothing. Matt Best and these veteran advocates, celebrities, I guess, inspirational figures, comedians too. So they have a film coming out called Range 15, and they're having a Vegas preview of it. So we're gonna ride out there and try to talk to veterans and give hand out Project 22 and stuff like that.
Veterans, zombies, and Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
Oh, Danny Trejo's gonna be there. Hell yeah! I heard he's opening a taco shop in LA somewhere.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like Trejo's Tacos.
Dude, that's
Nice.
amazing.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's something called Rally in the Valley in October. Where it's scheduling. So, but it's gonna be another cross country ride to Maryland, right? So we're gonna pick.
Jesus,
yeah,
you guys
dude.
are monsters.
Yeah, we're gonna pick up. It's gonna be me and Doc. We're gonna start here, and we're gonna pick up veterans along the entire country,
Oh,
all the
damn.
way to a massive, massive rally in Maryland, where there's gonna be freaking amazing disturbs. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
they
bands
lined
playing.
up
Yeah, bands
for
are
last
playing.
year,
It's all for veterans.
What's it called?
Rally in the Valley.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick, and anybody's welcome to join. We're gonna film it. We're gonna show Project 22 along the way if we can. So
Where was info for that ride be?
it's in the
in the
process.
works,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
in the
Oh,
works.
cool.
But that's next.
And you guys are gonna document all that too?
We're gonna do like an
We'll have-
media.
Mount some
yeah,
cameras?
Yeah. It's not gonna be a
Not
film
like
or
a
anything,
production,
but like
but-
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, through our Facebook.
Get some content
and,
together, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah.
Sweet.
Hell yeah,
Killer.
man.
And your Instagram or your whatever else you guys use for
Medicinal
social
missions.
media?
Instagram is Medicinal Missions, one word.
Sweet. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
Thank you guys
Project
for coming
22.
in.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yeah.
you,
So
Feltrager.
everyone definitely go check out Project 22. Watch the trailer alone. It hooked us in. So
Yeah.
Killer. Yeah. I appreciate you guys being here, and that's it.
Thank you.
Killer.
Rock on, brother.